of I Am Beautifully Broken. I am your talk show host, Lamikiona. On this show, we talk about all things mental health, and we got to talk about God in there. So let's get to this episode. So right here, we have our beautiful Dez. Thank you so much for coming. I really just felt that you had a presence that I would love to talk about today. You had put me in your Bible study group, which I've been loving. I love your testimonies that you put in there. I love just, and we met through photography, actually.
Yes.
You had did my business photo shoot last year when I released my book,
Yes.
Why Her Not Me.
Yes, go get that, you guys.
Right. So I just want to talk with you and dive in more about, like, what started you in photography, what made you start your Bible study and things like that. So I'm super excited, and I'm so glad to have you.
Well, I am excited to be here, so I'm just more than happy to just talk with you and just dive into it.
Okay. So first things first, we like to play this game called Get to Know You.
Okay.
So it's just like this random quote that I found, and I just want to see, pick your brain about what you think about it.
Okay.
So it says, do you live life to love, or do you live life to just live?
That's a good question. I would say that I live life to love. I am a lover girl for sure.
I'm a lover girl too. I used to think I just like to navigate through life, but then when I learned how to love, it was just something that just made life so much better. You know how with your family and your friends, just that love and that connection. And I'm like a gift giver. I love to give gifts that mean something to you. For instance, maybe if I know my friend really likes flowers, I try to pick out flowers or her favorite color or something like that. Or my son, his love language is gifts and just that love. So I just try to surround it all with love.
Yeah, that's really good. I think for me, I'm definitely big on gift giving, but also quality time. I tell people if I show up for you, that means a lot to me. I try to show up to my friends' events, their birthdays, whatever they're having. I try to put it on the calendar. It don't matter how busy I am. I try to show up for people. So that's really big.
I think that's so big of you, because I really feel that's something, a quality in me as well. I really try to show up as if it was just me, but I show that love because I know this is your moment. I want you to feel this is a big moment for you, and I don't like to ever my friends sometimes play small.
Yes.
They're still small.
We're not downplaying you, girl.
Right. I'm not gonna ever downplay you, girl. This is a big moment, so I just know that just showing that love just really just makes it so much better.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel sometimes people don't feel the need to hype themselves up or to celebrate just small wins, but we only have one life to live, and we definitely got to celebrate those moments.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what made you actually get into photography?
So I would say when I was in high school, I was doing journalism. We had the newspaper.
Oh,
yeah. So we had a newspaper back then, and so I was just taking photos just to go to the games for free. They were like, "Oh, you can go to the basketball, the football games for free." So I was just doing that, and really it was just I literally grew up just watching weddings and camera products on YouTube all the time. And so literally when I went to college, I wanted to major in it. My parents was like, that's not a real career. And I was like, yes it is. And so once I got out of college, people started asking me how much you charge, or can you do this photo shoot? And I was just taking people's Instagram photos. I'm like, this could be a business. So I just transitioned and made it into a business, girl.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yes.
I love when you can really turn your passion into a business.
Yes.
Something that really soothes you and really makes you feel fulfilled. That's how I feel about my businesses. I always think about dang, I really feel fulfilled, because I remember one time I just I always post like random videos and kind of just talk about like different things I'm feeling or like whatever God puts on my heart. Mm-hmm. And then I remember one time I got a message and it was like, you literally saved my life from like jumping. And I was like, But I just had to take a deep breath because
Girl,
that really made me like.
No, like, and you're like, me, like, God, like, and someone told me that once. They were like, God wants to see the U-shaped hole in somebody else's life. Like, he designed you to help someone else. And so when they said that, like, I had the same situation just recently. Like, I had someone who's like, they were like, I only have a few days to live. And they were just like, can you do my holiday photo shoots? And I was so scared. I'm like, I don't know, like, is this gonna harm you?
Right.
And they were just like, no, like, I want to have these memories. I want my son to remember me. So I want to, like, get my makeup done. I want to go take these photos. And I was like, wow, like, I'm literally not only, like, doing a moment for her, but this is a moment for her child. And when we did the photo shoot, like, she was just so happy to just be out the house and, like, experience a photo shoot.
Wow.
Something so small. And she was like, I haven't been out the house in months. And I was just like, so much we take for granted. Yeah. So I was like, God, thank you for giving me this gift to give to her. So, yeah.
And it's like when your gift always like moves, like it transcends like everything, just with, and we think of it as like as just a photo, but you never know what that photo means to someone. Like I used to. Like when my best friend died, I literally would go through my pictures, and I had 3 pictures of me and him.
Wow.
And I was just thinking, like, if I capture more moments that we had, because you can talk about them all day, but it's just something about like the photo that makes it real.
No, that's literally true, because it's like one day a photo is all you'll have left,
Right?
And that's it. And so I really went through the same thing. I recently just had one of my close friends pass away.
I'm so
and
sorry.
No, girl, I'm sorry for your loss as well. And so with that, it was just like the same situation. Like, I don't have many photos of us, but I had photos of them.
Right.
And so I was just like, man, like, you don't think about it. And so when I went to the viewing, that's when it hit me. I was like, wow, like, they're gone. And that's not a moment to take a picture, you know?
Right.
It's just disrespectful. And so it's just like, wow, like, I wish that I had taken the time. So many times I'm taking pictures of others. I forget to take pictures with my friends.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I still find myself like struggling to capture moments until after the fact, and it's like, oh, I should have captured that, but then it was like, I'm so in the moment type of person that sometimes I neglect to think about like, oh, I need to be taking a picture. Like, I'm just so like, I don't.
Yeah, it's funny because in my Bible study group, I'm the one like doing the media getting content, and they're like, Dezi always got this phone in her face, but then I be looking at me and my daughter like for my Instagram, I'm like, where can I find a picture of us at? Right. And so like sometimes I forget to take pictures with like some of the closest people with me, and like share those moments. So sometimes it just happens, but we definitely got to make that a duty to just take more photos and just. Not always be in the moment, but sometimes you do got to be in the moment.
So I highly suggest those of you who are like us, who don't like literally capture every single moment, make sure you're capturing every single moment with your loved ones, with your friends, because you never know. Like, I just think about like the time my cousin died last year. I was like devastated because just thinking back, like looking at our pictures and stuff like that, we didn't have that many pictures either. So I'm just like, it's something about that just makes me feel like you have to capture every moment, because you just never know. Like, that threw me for a loop. So to see it like go into what it was just like, dang, I wish I would have captured more moments, or even had more moments with you and shared them with you.
Yeah, I think it really hit me, like, even with my friend that just passed, his mom just contacted me and his sister was like, we want to take family photos, but like, how can we incorporate him in there? And that's just sad to me, because it's like they don't have family photos with all of them. And I was just like, dang, like, and I'm gonna do my best to try to like incorporate him in the photo, but I just was like sad that they didn't have a family photo with all of them. Like, you have them two over here, them two over there, but not a huge family photo. And with it being the Christmas season right now, I definitely am trying to do that. Just even with my grandparents, like, because sometimes like we forget to take those with them. Like you see when your grandparents pass, people are posting like when they were 5 with their grandparents, and it's like while you're spending time with them, like take a moment, and I'm sure your grandparents would like that. Like, come over here, take a selfie with me, because it's just like you don't know how much longer you have with people.
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, and that's y'all go too. So take more pictures with y'all loved ones.
Absolutely, and I think like even with like my grandma still being here, she had said like her one prayer for Thanksgiving was like to see all her grandkids, and I think like when she said that, it kind of made me feel like, dang, why I didn't capture this moment more, like. Because that's surreal for, like of course, she doesn't see us as much because we don't live in the same state. So it's just like, you really want to cherish and value your family and your friends more than we actually do, because you just never know. Like, I just thought of that moment as like, you got to really embrace life, because when you don't and you let life just pass you through, you don't really get to spend the time or the moments that you should have with your family and friends, because I always been like a go-getter. So I think something that I've been trying to incorporate in my life is like, stop making so many plans that doesn't include your family. Stop making yourself feel that you have to get all this done before you can spend time with family. You have to make sure you're capturing each moment, because you just never know when it's going to be your last.
No, that's a word. I literally been thinking about that, and it's crazy you just say that, because I've been doing so many photo shoots and doing so many things, and I'm like, I need to make time to spend with my daughter. And it's like, I do make time to spend with her, but it's just like, no, like, I don't care if you want to do this and you want to do that. Like, she has a priority in my life as well. So I've been reflecting on that. And one thing that I always just used to love growing up was, I'm not a Kardashian, keeping up with the Kardashian type of girl. But one thing I will say I love about them, like, they used to always have all these home documentaries, or like they used to go home movies, and like they used to watch themselves when they were kids. And I'm like, I wish I had home.
Me too.
Like, I have some friends who said they have like videos on VHS of when they were a kid, and I was watching the Kanye West documentary, and I'm like, how did he know to like record his life? And I was just like, I want to do that. Like, I want to look back on my daughter, and I'm sure you with your son, like, dang, when you were 5 or when you were 2. So it'll be cool. So that's one of the things like I enjoy.
I know we got a little deep, y'all, but we'll be right back after a short break, okay? Tune in to our sponsors of today, which is Love is Beauty. So check it out right now. So next thing on our agenda, which is our next segment, which is called Topic Talk. Okay. So earlier we talked about off camera about Bible studies. So I know you've been kind of hosting your own, but aligning along with somebody else. So how's that been for you?
Okay, so I am a part of a young adult ministry. It's called 1-800-PRAY for Me. And y'all, this thing has changed my life. And so shout out to my boy Jay Newton, and he's an artist in Atlanta, and he pretty much he just wanted to read the Bible during COVID, and so he just started a Bible study, and so he made me one of the leaders. And so we were the first set of leaders that went through to just make this a ministry. And pretty much like he had me lead some of the Bible studies, and I'm like, I was so nervous. I'm like, you want me to talk?
Right.
Like, I'm the most imperfect, ratchet little girl. And so I was just like, are you sure? And he was like, no, like, you're perfect. And so I've done different Bible studies, and it's been great. Like, just to hear people say that I've impacted them, or like they gotten a word from me, it's just like, wow, like, God, you're using me to speak to people, and which led me to starting like the series you were talking about, which was the 3-way call. And that's just pretty much like, I don't know where it's gonna go, what it's gonna turn into right now, but it's just a conversation between me, you, and God. So we're gonna see what happens with it.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
Yes.
I look forward to that. You have literally given me a word without like us even talking. It's just been more so like you had put something in there. It was like one of your car rides, and I was like, for me, I feel like God always talks to me the most when I'm in the car.
Girl.
I'm talking about, he be talking to me every time I'm in the car, and like through previous seasons, like when I didn't have when I wasn't teaching, I did Instacart primarily. So, I spent a lot of time in my car, and like me and God done had some. We gonna have some conversations, some ratchet ones. Like, God,
why?
Like, what is going on? Like,
no,
those type of things. So I just feel like, your ministry is like so big because it gives you like, it helps me to understand like you can talk to God in any form. Like, it doesn't have to be like a prayer format. It literally can just be a conversation. And I really learned that from you. Is like, just have a conversation. Like, no matter in the moments, and in moments, God is always speaking to you. And it can be whether it's a red light, whether it's a green light, whether it's just the smallest things, God can talk to you in all formats.
That is so good that you said that to me, because it's just like, I sometimes doubt myself, or I feel like, should I say this, or is anybody even watching this? Right. And so sometimes God will call me to speak and share my testimonies, and I do not want to be so vulnerable. I'm like, I don't want people in my business, like, and God's just like, no, speak. And just like you said, for me, I'm always in my car. My friends literally bought me the little car, where you can hold your camera, your phone up. They bought me, they're like, you need to start recording in your car because you stay in the car. And so, like, no, God speaks to me in my car. And I think that's the only time you're forced to not be busy.
Absolutely.
Like, you get home, you're like, I got to do this, I got to do that. But when you're in the car, you're just driving. Absolutely. And in Atlanta, everything 30 minutes away. So, absolutely. Look, so it's definitely been a time to just connect with people. And I'm like, look, y'all, God don't play about Dezi. No, and like, look, you can talk to Big G like, hey, Big G, like, what's up? Like, why you got me going through this? And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, you don't have to be like, dear Lord, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
they're like more like generic type of thing. It literally can be a conversation, because I'm telling you, it has been like me talking to God on all different aspects. Like, say if like I'm just about to walk outside or something like that, and like something just hits me about like, just God just gives me a revelation or something. It's like, I feel like, God, you had to do that right now. Like, out of all moments right now, like when I'm feeling my busiest, like, for example, this is something I wanted to talk to you about, is like the balance, because I know we're both parents. And that's just something that God has always been doing to me. Is like, he'll hit me when I'm trying to, be a mom, or like trying to have this moment, and he's like, calm down, chill, relax, because
you're doing too much.
Yeah, you're doing too much. He even has, as a boy mom, he's even told me like, you need to soften up. I'm like, why? Why? He needs that. But then it's like, no, his love language is caring, loving, and things like that. I'm like,
girl, why are you talking to me? Because literally my daughter, like, her love language is physical touch. Yeah. And I was like, girl, why is you touching me? Yeah. Like, chill. Like, I'm like, okay, we can hug. Yeah. I'm done now. Yeah. Like, you can go sit over there. And like, I'd be like, love her love language, not mine. Like, love her. And I'm real, like, I'm the friend, like, you could be sitting over there, I could be sitting over there, and we good. But no, she like, I want to be next to you. Yeah. I want to hold you. And like, somebody was like, Dezi, cherish those moments. Like, one day she ain't going to sit you. I'm like, but today, Lord, like, sure.
Why today? Yeah.
Yeah, but it really does show those moments where you just like, but you do have to find a balance. Yeah. Like, you have to find a balance with work life and just being a parent. And yourself. Absolutely. Because kids take a lot of energy out of you, and then also work, but you got to make that self-care time where you're like, I'm gonna do this for me, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah, absolutely. I think what I've learned about myself being a mom, I have, like, at first I kept trying to separate the two. Like, I tried to separate
being a mom, being a teacher, being a, just everything else, being a businesswoman. And I was like, why are you trying to separate everything when you can do it in one? Mm-hmm. And it was just like how I've been learning to find my balance of being a mom, working, and things like that. It's like that self-time is like something I just really cherish. Mm-hmm. Like I wake up at 5 every day with the intent that 5 o'clock to like 6:20, mama time. Mm-hmm. Mama time to pray, to eat breakfast, whatever it is, to fill up my cup. At 6:20, it's time to fill up my child's cup. Mm-hmm. And get him ready for school and things like that. And then, when I get to school, for me to go to school, I'm just like, okay, a lot of times I clean up, I do my teacher TikToks and stuff like that. But it's like that is so soothing to me because now I'm preparing myself. It's like at every moment I'm trying to prepare myself for the next thing I'm about to do. Mm-hmm. So I prepare myself for myself, I prepare myself for my son, and then I prepare myself for work.
And I think what you didn't even really notice, what I just noticed from you talking was you really start your day off with God. You really giving God your first half of your day. Right. And then you're giving it to your son. And it's like, now I can feel fulfilled doing things I like. So if that's making your TikToks, mm-hmm. if that's, right before the kids come in, now I can be a teacher. But right. You're like, it seems like you're doing a little bit of that and you have a schedule. And I think that's literally, as a mom, you have to. I tell my friends, you want to hang, we got to get on the schedule because she got a play date this day and a birthday party, and I got this. So, we got to be, especially as an entrepreneur, you definitely have to have a schedule or your day is just not going to go as planned. And I just be asking people, I'm like, how do you wake up at 11 a.m.?
Me too.
1, 2? Really?
I don't have time. Girl, if I woke up at 11 o'clock a.m., and all of that is not done, like what I did from 5 to basically between 5 and 8, if I haven't did none of that, girl, my day would be so I
have a friend that wakes up at that time, and I be like, you know what all I've done so far today? The amount of stuff I done did, you just not waking up?
Absolutely.
I'm like, and I think, and that just shows the difference of who really wants it and who doesn't, because when you really want it bad enough, you're going to get out here and strive, and, and even in a sense, I don't even see myself applying for jobs that's not, in the morning,
absolutely.
And, especially with a child, I'm like, how's that going to work? I got to pick my child up for school, that's not going to work. Shout out to the people who can do that, but I be like, for this life, nah, we got to be on a routine.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely shout out to people who can live life without a routine.
The Target girlies, and then they go do things.
I don't be having time. If I need to go to Target, I have to plan
to go to Target.
Plan when I'm going to go
and
to Target. And
how long we staying in Target.
Yes, and what's the schedule for me getting in there and me getting out of there. Yes. So then a lot of times I'm learning okay, if I don't want to, because I'm budgeting now, I have my own place and stuff like that. So I'm just like, okay, well, I can't be going in here and just be spending all that money. Yeah, it's cool, the look of it, but if my bills are getting lacked because I want to go in Target and spend all my money, it's that's not a smart decision.
I'm really big on that with my friends because I said earlier, I love quality time. Right. But I'd be like, okay, this month, can I afford to go out to eat with you or go to your birthday event? Or I'm going to be your friend that come over and chill. We're going to watch a good movie at your house here, and we're going to have the best of time. You want me to be lit, whatever, I got you. So sometimes you have to budget and just, you don't have to do what everyone else is doing, but still have a good time.
Yeah. So. I'm a hostess. So I love to host things. Ooh. But then I'm like, being a hostess come with the mostest.
Yes, girl. I just had a birthday event and I was like, child. And my friends was like, we need decorations, we need that. And I was like, child, all we need is wings, pizza, and that's it. They was like, Dezi, no. I was like, I don't care about the decoration. Look, just come. So I shout out to y'all event planners, y'all hostess. I just like to show up and have my time with y'all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I love to do it, which I haven't hosted anything at my place yet, but I'm already planning for it. I'm like, okay, when is the month that I can kind of, slide this in there because I want to, but I'm just I have to make better decisions when it comes to like finances and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just like, I try to look at it from a point of view of like, am I trying to do this to please others, or am I doing this so I can please myself?
Yeah, I think in a sense, like, you have to look at it in that way. And that's just a part of adulting, like, and being responsible. Like, all right, God, is this something I need to do or I want to do? And that's why you have to have God in your life, so you pray and really have discernment over every decision that you make.
Absolutely.
Even if it's buying something that's Target.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to be like, God, do I need this? Nah.
Nah. Yeah.
All right.
So another topic I wanted to talk about is like, when life is lifing, what do you do?
Ooh, child. Ooh, when life is life, and what do I do? Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Man, immediately I'd be like, bruh, like I am a person that I feel like things are always happening to me back to back to back to back. And I was really angry with God recently, and I was just like, God, like, why do you keep having me go through so many situations? And he was like, what he spoke to me was, you asked for me to build your faith. How else am I going to build your faith if I don't try to remove it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't tear you down to the core. And I had to think about it. I was like, dang, God, like, you take money from me, you take my job, you apartment, death, like, just so many things that will happen. I'm like, where I have no result but to lean on God and just to trust him, like, because there's certain situations your friends can't get you out of, your family can't get you out of, and it's like, all right, God, like, I'm gonna just have to trust you. And so I think I'm in the process of building my faith back up. But I think when life starts lifing, I literally, like, okay, first I have to, like, just have a moment, and I'm like, okay, let me be in my emotions. Sometimes be like, people like, it's okay, just brush it off. I'm like, no, like, my friend was just telling me, like, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to cry, like, have your day, just don't stay in that moment. And so I think I try to give myself a day or two, and then I try to, like, okay, God, like, what do you want me to learn from this situation, and how can I pivot? And so that's why it's good to have good community, because I think I turn to, like, the people who I know are in tune with God, and I'm like, how should I move? What's the next steps? And then I see God as well, but sometimes it's hard to hear God. You're like, he's not talking. Right. What is he saying? And so that's when it's like, okay, let me talk to someone, not just any friend, because some of my friends, I might have been friends with them for the longest, but they don't have that wisdom from God, you know. So sometimes I have to turn to my community, like, okay, how should I handle this? How should I be? And so with that's just how I be handling. But sometimes I'm like, God, little bitchy, I know you think I'm one of your strongest soldiers and everything, but chill on your girl. Like, give me a month. Maybe 3. But, you know, sometimes God, he knows that he's going to put you in certain situations because he needs to build you up. And I tell people the story of, I'm so glad that, like, I was in college and, like, had to start paying my car insurance, my car note, like, in college, because I have friends now, they're like, oh my God, like, this is their first time being on their own, this is their first time paying bills. Some of them are 30 or some of them are like 25, and it's just like they never experienced. And I'm like, dang, like, I'm glad. At the moment I wasn't glad, like, oh, why you got me paying car insurance at 18? But now I'm glad, because I'm like, wow, I know how to survive off of $20. I know, like, what to do if this light on my car comes on, and I know, like, you know, if I don't have this much, how much the budget, or okay, you're gonna have to eat spaghetti this week, and like, it sucks, but, and so I think you go through those situations at different points, and you look back later and you're like, dang, that's why I was going through that. Like, I went through that hard time, so you appreciate when he does bless you with the things you're desiring.
Oh, that was powerful.
She said that was
no, I'm for real. I'm just like, listen, like, you know, I look at it and I think about, like, I personally think about how long I went without leaning on God, and then to look at the fruition of, like, when I did start to lean on God, how God really showed up every single time. And I think about, like, to be honest, I didn't start getting a closer relationship with God until 2023 of this year. So to look at everything going in full circle, even when getting knocked down, because I remember that day I literally sat on the floor and cried my eyes out, and I said, God, I can't do this no more without you. And it was just like, yes, I grew up in church, and yes, I had my own somewhat of a personal relationship with God, but it wasn't always leaning on him. It was leaning on what I thought of him, what I thought he could do for me.
Okay.
But now that I'm leaning on to not what he can do for me, but what he does through me. So it wasn't no more about, oh God, you can do this for me, so let me keep praying because I know you're going to do it for me. It's what can you do through me that I can help somebody?
To help somebody else.
What can you do through me to give light to somebody else? Because now I'm not thinking more of a selfish mindset of what can God do for me? What can you do for somebody else? It's like I was listening to Megan Ashley.
I love her podcast. Yes.
In totality, and I just thought about like how she talks about like how like God is like breaking her down and then building her back up, and I'm just like, I'm in a season of that too. And it's like you feel so alone in that moment, but then when you see the fruition of like how God can literally speak through somebody to speak to you, and then you speak to somebody else, it's like the power in that is like no other.
It really is. And I love her podcast, by the way.
Too.
And it's just so good. And I think that's really what I had to reflect on. So recently, I just watched the Tyler Perry documentary.
Yes, crying.
Girl,
Crying.
Tears, real tears. Like,
yeah.
And I tell anybody, watch that movie. Like, I know Lil Baby got a like inspiration documentary, Kanye West, but that Tyler Perry one, like,
it hit different.
Man, 7 years you were homeless. 7 years you're going through this thing getting told no, and then literally God says yes. And like, like, it's just the whole movie. He went through grieving. People, like, you see Tyler Perry do so much good in the community, and he still gets shunned for it. And like, I don't know, that documentary and The Pursuit of Happiness is probably one of my favorite movies, because it's just like, I feel like that's my life. Like, my testimony isn't for me, it's for someone else.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I am going through things because some other person needs to see you can make it through.
Absolutely.
And like, God literally will break you down, and you're like, wow. And sometimes you look back on it and you're like, I really survived this. I really overcame this. How?
Man.
How? Like, and there's times like you will be praying to God, and you're like, he's not listening. God will literally answer you in that last second. Like, there's been times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna eat today.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, or I don't know how I'm gonna have the money for this. And literally someone will call me, walk up to me and be like, God just told me to give you this. And I'm like, really, God? What? And so that was kind of what was going on with me too. I was just like, God, like, thank you. And I just had to really look at like what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, what I'm hearing, because it really just changed my life. I got baptized earlier this year, maybe in March or April. And I had grew up in the church and just been surrounded by church, in the church my whole life. But I felt like I didn't know God like the whole time. So yeah, I'm going to church. I know the songs, whatever. But it wasn't until like I got baptized where I was like, okay, God, I need to actually read the Bible. Like, I'm tired of people telling me Bible stories, and it would be common Bible stories. They'd be like, so y'all know the story of Noah? And I'm like, no, I don't. Not for real.
No,
you know the story.
Absolutely.
You know the story of Mary? No, not for real.
No. Yeah, I know of it. Like, somebody kind of.
I know the scripture. I can tell you Jesus wept. Yeah. I can tell you
John 3:16.
Yeah, John 3:16. I knew Adam and Eve. And
yeah, me too.
That was
not the story, not the full story.
What's the verse before the ones y'all always say? And so that was what I challenged myself this year. I was like, okay, God, let me actually read the Bible, because I don't know if what they saying is in there is really in there.
True.
And then 2, let me actually like start really praying and really talking to you, and not just like, God, thank you for this day, amen. Like,
Right.
or
Yeah.
God, thank you for this food I'm about to eat, amen.
Yeah.
Like, I prayed today, like,
Yeah.
no, like, if I can sit on the phone with my friends for an hour or two, why can't I talk to God for an hour or two? And so it was like, some people be like, I don't want to give God 10%. I don't want to give him 10% of my money. And it's like, okay, give him 10% of your time, like out of your day. Give him a 10% of like a conversation, because he has had you here for 365 days. So like, are you gonna talk to him at least once? Like, or are you just only gonna talk to him when a bad situation? God, like, I'm struggling to talk to him. Like, God don't want you to only talk to him when bad things are happening. It's just like any friend. You don't want your friend calling you only when it's
bad.
Yeah, you want your friend to call you like on good days, bad days, whatever. So that's what builds a relationship. So yeah, that's
a word. That's a word. I say that's a word because I just think about how God has literally had his hand on my life even when I didn't have my hand on his. Meaning that I didn't put my time and my efforts into getting into his word, but he always put his hand and his arms all around me. I think about like the times where I could have been dead.
No,
but like God took me and like pulled me out of that. And like it's just like thinking about all that I've been through. It's like I used to think like, God, why would you put me through that? Why would you put me through this man raping me? Why would you put me through, like all of this? And then you think about how it's not about me. It's about what my testimony will do for somebody else. And I'm not saying to, that somebody sexually assaulting you is ever okay. And I'm not saying, but it showed me forgiveness. It showed me how to forgive, how to really forgive.
No,
and I didn't know how to forgive at first. Yeah, I can say I forgive you, but did I really? Did I really forgive you? Did I really give you that grace that you didn't deserve, but I gave it to you anyway?
I think, I went through something very, very similar, and I think that's the hardest thing, is to forgive people who really hurt you, like, and truly forgive them, and then not just forgive them, but bless them and be nice to them and be generous to them. And it's just like, why, God? Why should I be nice to them? Why should I forgive them when they hurt me, when they've impacted me, and I have to live with this trauma that this person has caused me? And sometimes it's not the forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. Like, it's going to heal a part of you, and it might not seem like it in that moment, but later you're like, wow, I needed this healing for my child, to break the generational curses. And so, you're strong despite the fact that you went through that and that you're able to see that. And so I think with you, like, even just watching your page and just seeing how you've evolved even in this year, like, you've motivated me, because I remember just hearing your story about like how you got your apartment or how you became teaching, and like the struggles you were going through, like, keep hearing no, and this ain't gonna work out. And like seeing your faith, like, I was just like, dang, I'm glad she's showing this, because it's like I was going through a season where I was going through the same thing, and sometimes you don't even know that. Like, this is our first time talking about it, so like, it's that trauma, it's that healing, but I think it's all worth it at the end.
It definitely is worth it. And thank you for empowering me on that, because I was like, I wasn't gonna share it. God said, why not? And I said, why? I'm like, I'm fighting him for days. Like, I had been in my apartment already for a week, and God said, do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to share this part of my life. He said, why not? Why not?
Yeah, I went through that same situation, like, with me, and the reason, like, my child's father ended up not being together. Like, I remember sharing that story, and I just was like, God, I don't want to share. I don't want people in my business. I don't want them knowing. I don't want my daughter to see this later and be like, but it's like, this is my story. This is what happened to me. And there's just other situations where, like, there's been times in my life where I've been homeless. There's been times in my life where I got kicked out of school, and there was moments where I'm like, I don't really want to say all that. Like, that's too personal. But time after time, God be like, do it. This is not for you.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to do it? And so, like, there was a part of me, and God was like, and do it scared.
Yeah.
Like, and I just was like, okay.
Scared, man.
Yeah, like, God was like, do it and do it scared. And I was just like, okay. And so, just like you had mentioned at the beginning, like, there will be times where people will DM me. They might not like it. They might not comment on it. They might not share, but they'll DM me. And we're like, I needed that. Like, this impacted me. I'm going through this. Like, I'm trying to be a single mom. I'm trying to navigate school. And so I'm like, dang, God. Like, and it's not just, sometimes it's not even one person, but even when it is just one person, I'm like, I just helped one person with this situation. Like, even with the grieving I was just going through, I didn't want to share that I was grieving. I didn't want to put it out there, but I was like, I have to. I own a business. I have to tell people why I'm not showing up as my best self. And I wanted my friends to know, because my friends are like, why are you acting funny? What's changed? And God was like, do it. Show them that you are human. And that's when I actually read the whole chapter of, like, Jesus wept, and like what happened. I was like, wow, Jesus wept because that was his friend. And I never knew that. And one, it showed me my faith is growing and how I'm, like, reading the Bible more, but it also showed me, like, God is just like us. Yeah. Like, he goes through things, so he can be empathetic with the emotions that we're feeling. So it's okay, share, and, like, do it scared, because, like, God will literally show up in ways you never expected and impact others through you. Yeah.
That's a word.
Yeah,
I know I keep saying that's a word, y'all, but I'm talking about, it just literally, it warms my heart that, like, we can have conversations like this. Yeah. Because, like I said, before we even started this episode, we prayed before, and I was just like, God, just speak through us. Yeah. Speak through, like, what it is that you're going to touch many lives. And I think this conversation just, you know, not just feeling for me, but feeling for you. To listen, to, you know, to know that you're not alone. Because we think all the time that, like, I'm the only one going through this. I'm the only one going through this. Like, nobody can't be going through what I'm going through. But it's like God will really, like, put his warriors down bad to only build us up to be, like, the world's greatest, you know, evermore. And that's kind of where I'm trying to transition my Instagram page to, at least, like, my personal page, because it's like so many people see me as like, Dezi, you're always getting blessed, or you're, like, such a good Christian. And, absolutely. And I was like, no, like, I am imperfect. I still curse all the time. Girl, like, I was cursing. Look, Chad, look. And I'm just like, look, I curse, I might drink, I might be twerking, I might, like, you never know. And I'm like, I am imperfect, but God still uses me. Yeah. And, like, I don't want to be the person, like, getting up on Instagram, cleaning my house. No, like, I love the people where you see, like, they doing laundry and they in a shirt, and, like, you see that this is me. Like, I go hang with my friends, and we might go to a festival that's free, like, and that's okay. And, like, I'm trying to show people, like, the transparent, vulnerable moments of my life, because it's like, no, like, and I had, like, somebody write me on Instagram. They're like, I just feel like your life's always put together. Like, you always have your hair done, your daughter, you have her reading Bible studies. And I was like, girl, you don't know what's going on, because you don't know, like, you know, what may have happened or how this occurred. Like, my hairstylist could bless me to get my hair done, or you might see me driving, but you didn't see me crying 3 seconds before. Absolutely. So I think, like, sometimes we have to show those vulnerable, transparent moments so people know, like, I'm not perfect. And that's why I love my Bible study group, because it's a group of 18 to 30-year-old people who are imperfect. And it's just like, wow, like, we really could do the God thing, but also do, like, be regular. I don't know what regular is, but, you know, just doing life. So I know we're gonna kind of switch gears. Okay. Because y'all, that was a word, and I'm like, we could be talking all day. That and word. I know. But I want to switch gears to our new segment that's called Mental Clarity Conversations. It's surrounded around all about just giving, you know, wisdom, giving encouragement, giving, you know, just our thoughts on it. This is a new segment that I created because I just feel like I don't want nobody to ever feel alone. And I know what that feels like, to feel alone. I've always been a very strong-minded person. I've always been strong. I knew the first time I started to feel that way when I was 10, when my dad died. I just felt that strongness just come on my body, and I just never weared it off. And I'm trying. That's something that I'm really working with God, is like, you know, in this space, I'm talking about mental health. And I'm like, God, why would you put me in a situation where I have to be uncomfortable? But like you said, do it scared, because if I wouldn't have did it scared, do I know how it would have came out? Do I know what it would have, you know, the fruition it would have came with it if I didn't do it scared?
Ooh, that's a lot. It
was just, you know, that's why I created this segment, because I knew that I don't want anybody to feel alone. Because we shouldn't feel alone.
That's real.
You know, with God everywhere around us, we should never feel alone. And I don't want nobody to feel alone. So if you would like to write in to mental clarity conversations, please use our email at iambeautifullybrokentalkshow@gmail.com. I know that's a mouthful, but everybody was over there taking our Gmail. So that's what we have to work with. So again, that is iambeautifullybrokentalkshow@gmail.com. Please don't feel afraid to have conversations. We didn't get any today, but that's okay. I know this is something new, so nobody, you know, may not know about it or may not feel comfortable enough to talk about it. Remember, you can do it anonymous as well, so you don't have to, if you don't want your name to be displayed, I totally understand. As the I Am Beautifully Broken team, we would never make you do anything you didn't want to do. So
okay. Well, make sure y'all write in. I think that's a great thing to just look back on, because even if you had nobody to write in, when you start seeing like, wow, you're gonna look at other episodes and be like, wow, this many people are writing in now. Like, you're gonna be like, wow. So y'all go ahead and start up and be the first one, and like just write in and tell your story and ask your questions and just let us know how you're feeling.
Yeah, that's the main thing. How are you feeling? You know, even if we don't have a full answer for you, it's more so like, it's the feeling of getting it off your chest. Because I know that feeling of just feeling like a burden that's on my body that I can't like shake off. And it's so good to have just to let it out. Yeah. This is the let it out. This is the let it out segment. Just let it out.
Let it out.
Let it out. It's going to be all right.
Okay.
But I really want to say thank you so much for coming. Like, this was so empowering, so like transformational for me, and I hope this blesses you as well. Thank you for becoming a part of I Am Beautifully Broken team. We wanted to give you something today.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys. Look, I'm saying you guys. Look, thank you. Oh, sis, you good?
Yes.
I love a cup. Like, yes. Oh my gosh.
We love good cups.
Yeah, and as I'm showing y'all the gifts, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, Black History Maker. I am Black History, and is.
Period.
Look, I am Black History. I love this. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'm so happy to be here. And like, I don't want to bypass the last thing you said. Like, that's really been something I've been feeling lately. And as we wrap up, it's just feeling alone. Like, I really haven't been in a season. My friend passed away 2 days before my birthday, and I just felt so alone. I feel like God wasn't there. I felt like my friends weren't there. I felt like I just didn't have anybody to talk to really outside of his family. And I just started speaking how I was feeling, and people got upset by it because they felt they were showing up, kind of like we were saying with the love languages. Right. But I was like, it wasn't the way I felt. I needed it. Yeah. And I just kind of felt really alone. And it took a minute, like, and it's still taking a minute, where I was just like, God, I need you to show up for me. I need you to send people the way I needed to. And literally, I said that prayer, and he started sending people I didn't even expect. And it was like, wow, I thought like this person was going to be the person, or your best friend. And it wasn't those people. It was people I didn't expect. And sometimes like we have this vision of how God's going to bless us, and that's not it. And so in reality of it, it was just like, I do have moments where I'm still like grieving, but there's other moments where I'm like, okay, but I'm not alone in this process, and I can make it through. So I definitely want to say, like, y'all write it in, because like there's so many moments, especially in the last month or two, where I felt alone. I felt like nobody understands me, they don't know how to talk to me. And so I just would tell y'all, definitely write in, share your testimony, because you are not alone. And like, I think this podcast even showed me that. So I think you even inviting me here is just like me thinking like, wow, you are wonderfully made, you are beautifully made, and God is literally using you, and somebody else sees something in you, so you got to see it in yourself. So thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Oh my God.
Thank you so much for that word.
Yes, I love this.
You know, we definitely can feel alone a lot, and I have been feeling alone a lot. And just in this season, I've just been like, dang, I don't have what I thought I had, you know.
No.
And then it's just like I stopped posting about my business. It's like, oh, well, you're not doing mental health anymore, and it's like, I'm not saying that I have to have it all figured out to start back posting, but being in a field where it is about your emotions and about the way you feel, it can take a toll on you. And it'd be hard to say how you're really feeling, because it's like, hey, that's a dark place to be. And just starting to come out of that, it's like, that's where my mental clarity starts. It's just having that awareness that I'm getting out of it.
Yeah, like when you brought it up, it was literally about to make me cry. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
Me too. I've been trying not the whole.
Like, I was like, I'm not gonna cry, but like literally, like, for you to even say it and tell people to write in, it's just like, that's where I feel like I'm coming out of, and like, God, you're not alone. You are gonna make it through. So it's just like, I posted on my story or on my profile the other day. I was like, you're either in a storm, you're coming out of the storm,
Yes.
or you're about to go into it. And so like, and when I learned that from my Bible study group, and I was just like, I'm in the storm right now, and I can see that it's not raining over there, but I gotta get there. And so I can't worry about who calling me like, is it raining over there? It ain't raining over here. And like, you can't worry about the noise, and you have to literally just keep going, because eventually you're about to make it out. It's not gonna be raining forever. We ain't in Seattle, baby.
Right.
But yeah, so but yeah, girl,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your word. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your love that you showed to I Am Beautifully Broken. Like, it's just all about just really repairing those pieces. That's why the heart is like broken, but it's getting put back to pieces, because you're not broken, you're breaking through.
You're not broken, you're breaking through. Ooh.
We gotta end right there.
Yeah, that's it.
You're not broken,
you're breaking through. I love that. You're not broken, put it on the shirt, baby.
Put it on the shirt. Thank you all for tuning in to I Am Beautifully Broken. Thank you so much, Dez, for coming in today. And I hope you guys enjoyed this